Hello, and welcome to Write with Artistry. My name is Marilyn Wood, and it has been a goal of mine for some time to start a YouTube channel to document my art process, plan for larger projects, and rediscover a joy for creating again. But before I dive into all that, I'd like to introduce myself and share the story of how I got here. I am an Ojibwe Soto artist from Penemitang First Nation, and I have been drawing for as long as I can remember. I was a little homebody growing up, so when you live on a reservation, you become well acquainted with nature pretty early on. And I used to sit by the river to practice painting as well as sketching whatever plants grew at the edge of the yard. But I also spent a lot of time in church and practiced still life drawings by drawing the architecture of the church as well as the people during services. This all started off as like a way to pass the time, but it turned into a way that I processed information as well as my emotions. And this got especially relevant as I got into my high school years because I used it as a way to ground myself as I struggled with depression and self worth growing up. So, after high school graduation, I spent 4 years working as a waitress and I taught myself how to use acrylics and watercolors through online tutorials. And in 2018, I made the decision to build my art portfolio and apply to study officially in university. So, for my portfolio, I did a variety of pencil crayons, watercolors, acrylics, and I mostly aimed to show how diverse I was with the mediums, and that worked. I got accepted, and in the fall of 2019, I began working towards a bachelor's degree. So, I originally had the intention of becoming a graphic novelist, but that all changed once the pandemic hit and I had to shift to online courses. Working from home was nice at first, but as time went on, I realized that I was only creating for the sake of my grades. And when I wasn't in school, maybe I would do a sketch or a full drawing if I was really lucky, but that drive I felt originally was gone. And I began to reflect on what made me love drawing in the first place. So I thought about the different teachers that I had growing up and what their influence meant for my early development as an artist. So early 2024, I began to shift my goals from a graphic novelist to becoming an art teacher for senior years. And this shift meant that on top of my regular art classes, I was also doing history courses. But since I always loved learning about history, it kind of felt like the easiest choice to make academically. And in the summer of 2025, I was contacted by my student advisor who let me know that not only was I on the right track for my goals, but I also qualified for the graduating honors course for my BFA, and I had a few weeks to decide if I wanted to go for it. So I did a lot of soul searching, and I kept coming to the conclusion that if I didn't go for it, then I would spend my life regretting not taking the chance. And once I applied and got accepted, I spent nearly all summer preparing myself for the exhibition, and that meant deciding how many pieces I was going to make, what my subject matter was, the materials I'd work with, and a theme to tie everything together. And I knew I wanted to bring my love of nature into my work, as it was how I started my journey in the first place. But I also wanted to tie in the memories I had from growing up in church and the sense of peace that I felt like learning and having a relationship with God. So it felt natural to combine the two themes. I used Bible verses that resonated with me and I interpreted them through floral and fauna symbology based on both personal memories but also well-known symbolism. Once I had my theme and my subject matter, I remembered an embroidery I made for Mother's Day 2025. It's a hummingbird using simple long short stitches and some three-dimensional elements, but that inspired me to find the other ways to use 3D elements with embroidery, to use the thread as a way to extend the canvas. And I have some regrets choosing this medium as my focus because I didn't realize how time consuming embroidery was, but as I worked on it during the program, I came to appreciate how meditative the whole process is. So, despite a lot of issues during those 8 months, I managed to create a series of 9 different embroideries for the exhibition, and I was featured with a total of 27 students. And once the exhibition was over, I honestly didn't feel like making things again, and then it dawned on me that I never had to make things for grades ever again. And I realize now that my creativity subconsciously became tied with academic achievement, but now I'm allowed to create what I want without the pressure of deadlines, and I wanted to take this final step that I've been afraid of. So In future videos, I'd like to talk more about my process and show you some of my finished work, but I'm also very excited to give a sketchbook tour because this has been by far the furthest I've gotten into a single sketchbook. It's about halfway, so if I really play around with it, I could probably finish it by the end of the year. I'd like to thank you all for listening to my story, and if you're interested in seeing more, please leave a like and subscribe for future content, and most of all, I hope that you all have a wonderful day. I will see you all on the next one. See ya!